Hello, everyone. This is Reverend Eugene Cho, President at Bread for the World. Thank you so much for joining us at our virtual gala to end hunger. I'd like to invite you on a journey with me, both back in time and also forward in time. What if I told you about 18 months ago, say early 2020, that we would experience one of the most challenging 18 months periods of our lives? What if I told you that we would experience an unprecedented global pandemic, illnesses and deaths, over 750,000 American lives, nearly 5 million people around the world, economic impact and joblessness, businesses lost, that we would experience one of the most contentious election cycles of American modern history, that we would experience the insurrection of January 6th, social unrest and protests, pain and trauma for our Black and brown sisters and brothers, a rise in anti-Asian hate, both rhetoric and violence. What if I told you that we would experience an unprecedented modern hunger crisis, that at its worst, 26 million Americans, 12% of all adults in the U.S. would have food shortages, that some food banks would experience 225% increase in their weekly averages, that 40% of Black and brown families would have a difficult time putting food on the table, that childhood hunger in the U.S. would quadruple. Globally, 2.3 billion people would lack sustained access to food, and that famine-like conditions would push an additional 130 million people to the brink of starvation. You'd likely feel exasperated, hopeless, disheartened, and maybe even a sense of paralysis. But there's something else that I think that I've felt over the past 18 months. Listen to this. I've experienced hope. Hope because of people like yourselves that cared about their neighbors, including and especially those who experience hunger, poverty, and vulnerability. Hope that even amid one of the most politically polarized times in our nation, we are still seeing bipartisan support for hunger and nutrition efforts. Hope because of our partnerships with like-minded organizations, including the Alliance to End Hunger. Hope because ultimately our hope is placed not on politicians or political parties, but rather in the good news and in the promises of Christ. This hope is not flippant or flimsy. It's persistent. It's prayerful, prophetic. It is tenacious hope. This is a hope that sustains. And when put into action, this is a hope that makes a difference. I have hope because Bread for the World members and people of faith and conscience across the United States, we saw the dire situation we were in and we took action. We prayed, we called our members of Congress, we organized our communities to contact our elected leaders, and we gave financial gifts to fund this important action. Because of you, we've seen tremendous impact. Now, let me prove this. By December of last year, the emergency aid that Congress passed to help Americans at the start of the pandemic, it expired. And yet the pandemic was worsening. Hunger spiked. Millions more families struggled to put food on the table. Bread and the Alliance and our partners, we increased our advocacy. And thanks to our collective voice, urging Congress to address hunger, our government passed additional relief before year end. And listen to this. Within 3 months, hunger was down 40%. Can you imagine? Friends, we have so much to celebrate, but we also have much more work to do. We can't stop now. This is why we need you. This is why we need your voice. This is why we need your support. This is why during our virtual gala to end hunger, I am asking you to consider making a generous gift towards this mission to end hunger. Your gift, together with others, can literally impact the lives of tens and possibly hundreds of millions of lives. Would you consider giving generously? For some of you, maybe it's $100 or $250 or perhaps $1,000. All I know is this: if we do this together, our voices, our prayers, our advocacy, our generosity, our collective actions, we can continue to make a dramatic impact and move closer to this mission of ending hunger in our lifetime. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, and God bless you.